What's up, everyone? Welcome back to GAWDs Podcast. This is episode 3, and this episode was going to be completely different, but because of what happened today, I decided to get Jason on here and do an emergency episode talking about Jim Ryan and his retirement from Sony. 30 years with the company. The man, he's done some stuff. I don't want to necessarily say it's good, but he's been a big part in Sony's history, and we kind of wanted to just like talk about just how drastic this is for Sony and where things are going to go from here. Um, you know, Jason and I, we obviously are not the fondest people of Jim Ryan at all. Like,
Not at all.
I just think that if you compare PlayStation prior to like 2020, you look at 2017 with Horizon, leading into 2018 with God of War, Days Gone. There's something else that came out. Was it Detroit that came out that year? I think it was Detroit.
Maybe.
But regardless, you lead into 2019, you lead into 2020. You're having games like Ghost of Tsushima, Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us 2, just like these really good, really high class games. Spider-Man Miles Morales, Demon Souls, just all these like really good first party Sony games that are obviously from, even though Jim Ryan took over kind of like late 2019, a lot of these
He's
Sony
been in
games.
the company since before the PS1.
Yeah, but he took over like
No, yeah, in
after.
2019, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm assuming all these projects were technically in place prior to him becoming in charge.
Yeah.
So
My main man, Sean Layden.
yeah, so like I look at it and I'm just like, under Jim Ryan, what has been accomplished? And I just think about, sure, God of War Ragnarok is an amazing game. Sure, Horizon Forbidden West is an amazing game. I love Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I love Returnal. Like there are some great games that have been under Jim Ryan, but we went from having 3, 4, 5 first party games a year to one a year, which
Or
blows my fucking mind.
one this year, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's been 2 every year, except for this year's only 1. Unless you account VR. But I really don't know if I want to count the Horizon VR
No.
game because it's such a completely different market. So like I don't know, man. For me, I was extremely excited and blown away by the announcement of him retiring. Like in that moment, I felt like fuck, this could be like the single most important thing for Sony this generation is to get rid of that motherfucker.
Dude, like, I'm not even a stockholder, and I felt relief. I saw Jason Schreier's tweet, and I was like, oh, please be true. 5 minutes later, truth. I was
Yeah.
like, thank you, good riddance.
I like sent that tweet to you and a few of my friends and I'm like, you know, if this is true, this is massive. Next thing I know, Sony is like, here's the announcement. And I'm literally in Target shopping with Kaylee and the baby, and I'm just freaking out. Like people are probably looking at me like I'm fucking insane because I'm literally in the middle of the store like freaking out. Not in a bad way. I'm freaking out like I'm about to grab like the nearest, you know, fireworks and piñatas and confetti and cake and just throw a party with celebrate. Like I view it as like if you would have had say Sean right? If you would have had him running PS5, I guarantee you PSVR2 would be wireless. I guarantee you the new PSP would be more like the old PSP. I guarantee you PS Plus would not have jumped in price. Like there's so
Did you see
many
the post that
things.
he personally made?
No, I didn't. He made a personal post.
Yeah, on
What
the
did
Sony Interactive website.
Oh, wait. Are you talking about Jim Ryan or?
Yeah.
Oh, so I saw. I thought you were talking about Sean for a minute. I was like, wait, Sean said something? No. I saw. What is it? He talked about the retirement. He talked about how hard it was to work from UK.
Living in the UK, working in America.
Yeah. So it sucks in a way because I do feel for him. 30 years with the company, and even though you're a millionaire, you can probably just fly back whenever you want. Fly there for breakfast, go home for lunch. But that does definitely sound like it had to have been hard, which kind of makes me feel like that was kind of dumb in the first place to have an employee like that. But especially someone in charge of your division, have someone that has
Yeah.
completely different time zones, completely different sleep schedules, completely different everything, and has to run a company. That's
Which makes a lot
crazy.
more sense why we don't see him as often as Phil Spencer.
Well, yeah, I mean, what does Phil really do at Xbox? Uh, he sits home, he plays his games, he goes on pointing his finger at everyone in the
Hey,
crowd.
but at least he plays games.
That is something I heard a lot of people saying in videos I watched, is that they wish that Jim Ryan was more of a gamer. That is one thing I will give Phil. I still love the fact that he brought Voodoo Vince over to the Xbox One because, him and I think it was him and his daughter played that game and he loved it or something like that. And like he just cherished like the game in general, so he wanted to bring it back. Like that side of Phil I love. But the other side of Phil where it feels like you're kind of just like pointing a finger at a crowd and throwing a dart at a pool is like what are you doing? Like where is this going? Like 30 FPS on every next gen game is not good. I don't give a fuck what you say. Like
On the strongest console ever.
yeah, no. And I don't know if you saw the tweets about, Digital Foundry basically pointing out the fact that there's like a significant gap of power not being used on the Xbox.
Hmm.
And he's like, why isn't Xbox like questioning this or like pushing developers to actually harness this power? And the answer is the Series S. So like I can sit here and talk shit about Jim Ryan all day, who I do think is the worst Sony head we have had. And while I do feel for the guy and I do hope he has a great retirement, and I do hope that he does look back on the past 30 years and feels like he's accomplished something, it is time for a change. It is time for a new direction for Sony. No more live service bullshit. I need 3 to 4, big ass AAA games, or just start getting into AA, Sony. Like AA games are perfectly fine.
And look at Helldivers 2 dropping in February.
Yeah, but that's February. I want it tomorrow. No. Um but it just comes down to like with Phil, I'm just like you would be better as like someone that assists the head position, someone who like gives ideas, helps pitch things, helps push things, but doesn't actually make the final decision. That's how I look at Phil. So it's just like a completely different situation with him. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like this video is kind of weird. Am I crazy?
Jimmy Boy is weird. So
Yeah, I don't know, guys. I feel like it's hard to talk about this, and I apologize if the videos sound negative, and it's been mostly like 99% me and like 1% of Jason. But it just for me,
Look, my mama told me if I don't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing.
Exactly.
We both don't like Jimmy Boy. Like I respect his accomplishments pre PS5. I will say that, but he had a great first year for that PS5 launch, and after that, man, I don't know what happened. Crazy decision after crazy decision.
Yeah, no, definitely crazy decision. But I feel like the the first year was bomb, man. Like we were talking about that. Like I look back and I'm like, dude, technically speaking, Returnal was like right there in 2021. So like I'm looking at, Kenna, Returnal, Pathless, Bug Snacks, Demon Souls, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Spider-Man Remastered. Um, you know, they were just like pumping out like single A, double A. They even started getting to the point of having, something like Stray, which should have came out sooner, but that was like 5 developers who made that.
I mean, at least you
But
got a day one PS Plus.
yeah, exactly. But it started strong, and then all of a sudden the momentum just came down and down and down.
Like as far as first party, it was obvious because all of their first party devs dropped something. These games aren't getting cheaper to make, they aren't getting quicker to make, but you're going to need more teams to fill in those gaps. That's all it is. And it's been slow. Like we said earlier in the video, it's a dead year. Only one first party release this year, and that's going to be Spider Man. And I'm not counting Horizon VR. I'm not counting the Horizon DLC. We're talking about full-fledged games. It is one Sony game this year.
Yep, and the person who's been basically dropping the most exclusives this entire generation is Insomniac. Like they're
Yep.
literally carrying Sony right
Sony
now.
on their back. Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane to me. I'm like, you know, I am a big Sony fan. I love my PlayStation. I love PlayStation exclusives. I want more of them, but it's kind of annoying to me, even though I do have massive excitement for Spider-Man 2, and I'm so ready to play that fucking game. It's just the marketing for that game was doo-doo. We've talked about that
Yep.
before in the
Yeah,
past.
we have. Yep.
The marketing was just garbage, and it wasn't until like literally a week and a half ago that things started picking up. And
Yeah. A
now
month
we're
before launch. It's crazy.
yeah, a month before launch. They did the same thing with God of War.
Yep.
And I'm at the point now where I'm just like, dude, I want that feeling again when, the first God of War, you guys were shoving that down our throats
Mm-hmm.
like basically you guys were sitting there on your Sony throne like this is game of the year. Nothing will beat this. We have the confidence that nothing will beat this. So we're just going to force feed all you motherfuckers until you buy our game and you love it. That's how the first God of War was. Then, even Ghost of Tsushima and Last of Us 2. I feel like I couldn't go anywhere in my life. It didn't matter if I was in real life going to a store or playing a video game or getting on my PlayStation or going on my computer or going on my phone. I saw something for Last of Us 2. Like that shit was pushed and
Yep.
pushed.
Especially when the leaks came out.
Oh yeah. And I'm just like a lot of people hate on the game. I love that fucking game.
I loved it.
There's some things in the story that I'm like, but that's some of the best gameplay
Mm-hmm.
and combat I've ever played.
Hate the story as much as you want, as decisive as it is. The gameplay was phenomenal.
It's almost like a perfect video game when it comes to gameplay.
Yep.
Like I wanted the multiplayer so bad because I'm playing that game like this is like peak. Like how do you beat this gameplay? The gore, the mechanics, the way the AI works, the fact that you shoot off limbs like ease and it's so detailed and brutal and just it's so good. Um and then I'm looking at Spider-Man 2 and I'm like I know that this level of detail was put into this game. I trust Insomniac. I know they worked their asses off. But why does it feel like no one gives a fuck? Starfield, I couldn't literally breathe without seeing something for Starfield. But Spider-Man 2, I'm over here trying to look for leaks.
Yep. Look for anything. Like I need more. Give me more. And nothing.
And ultimately that's like where it's gonna bring me in the video, that I'm just like, with Jim Ryan gone, I personally think that Sony needs to right now, like literally, like I don't give a fuck if it's 1 a.m. Like someone in Sony right this second who has power should be sitting there looking at like a Tony Stark level fucking table that has all of PlayStation's plans for the next 10 years and changing that motherfucker. Because we need to, in my opinion, we need to backpedal the PS Plus increase 100%. There's
Yep.
no, you've already proven your two big games are Saints Row and fucking Callisto Protocol, so the two worst games ever made.
Higher quality titles, 2 trash headliners, 2 2022 flops in a row for your higher quality titles, people. That is what a 33% increase got us.
With Farming Simulator 2022. Like, are you kidding me? Who thought this was okay?
Jim Ryan.
Dude, at this point, I'm just like, does he even work at the company? Because who decided this? Like, it has to be someone with negative chromosomes. Like, there's no way that they looked at Callisto Protocol and they were just like, this is it. This is worth.
This is the Halloween game for the year. Like
You know what's
appropriate
crazy?
month to give it, sure. The wrong game to give though.
You know what's crazy?
You could have given EA the bag for Dead Space.
I thank you. I was just about to say, you could have given me Dead Space remake over Callisto Protocol, and I would have accepted Farming Simulator and Wild West with open arms, because Dead Space remake is amazing.
I don't
But
know about Wild West, so I won't comment on that one. But yeah, the farming sim. I mean, still better than Generation Zero, whatever we got last month with Saints. But
ugh. But I'm just saying, like having that big good
mhm,
game
yeah,
makes up.
you give us Dead Space from Wish.
Yeah. Instead, you give me arguably a worse. In a way, it's kind of a worse lineup than last month's, just because who's gonna play the farming sim? I just keep looking at that like, who's gonna play that? There's not that many people are gonna look at that and be like, look, you could have at least given me like the power wash simulator. At least that's fun. Like,
I mean, I'd play farming sim before I play Callisto again.
yeah, okay, I'll give you that. Yeah, but they need to just backpedal all this bullshit until you prove to me that it's worth it. Give me PS2 back, like emulation out. I need a massive PS2 game.
Just the worst part is that unless Jimmy Boy does it himself, these changes aren't going to come until April of next year because he's going to stay in his position until March.
Yeah, but even if we have to wait, I still think they need to happen,
No,
because
it definitely needs to happen under either they force him to make it happen before he goes or it'll happen when he leaves.
like I will gladly give you more money for PS Plus if you're making it worth it, but you
Yep.
haven't shown me it yet.
Or just give us added benefits, add more to the service.
Like,
Like you could give us trash ass games all you want as long as the other features are worth it.
well, what happened to, like, I kept hearing rumors everywhere of Ubisoft Plus coming to PS Plus. Like, what is going on with that? Because you give me Crew, Assassin's Creed, Avatar, Star Wars all day one for having PS Plus. Worth
Right.
it.
Like Game Pass gets EA, PS Plus can get Ubisoft.
Yeah, and then, you know, in my mind, and we were talking about it a little bit, let's backpedal on some of these things, you know? I know it's probably really hard for PSVR 2 to go wireless, but try and think of some more customer friendly ways of getting people on it. It's an amazing product, but I want more people to have it so I have more people to play with, more people to do things with on it. There's not that many people who bought it because it's one, tethered, two, not backwards compatible, and three, it's just easier to get an Oculus. So
And
like,
for just a $500 system required for a 550 accessory.
yeah, exactly. Like, you guys got to think of something here. Like, as a consumer who bought it day one, I won't be upset if you backpedal and you create a wireless version that doesn't need the PS5. Because at the end of the day, and I see it a lot in the VR community, it's so small, we just want whoever will join. Like, we want more players, we want more gamers, we want more people who are willing to do stuff because a lot of the modern co-op games and multiplayer games are coming to VR. They're not making those games for normal consumption. Normal PS5 games aren't co-op, aren't multiplayer. It's just single player games left and right, except for a few cases. Whereas I go on VR and there's like 30 fucking co-op games and I'm like, what the hell? There's no one to play this with. Like, why is this like? There's no one to play this goddamn game with, and you know, it also makes me think that they need to backpedal the PSP. The Portal is cool. I like it. It's cool. Fine. You want to keep it $200? Great. But now let's make a second model that's like 450 and is basically a PS5. Like, let's just options, or even 400. Like 400 PS5 handheld. You
I
know,
mean, it's technically already 400 out the gate if you want to use those headphones.
yeah, but they could still try and make another model because if they were to tell me tomorrow, look, you can either get it in November for 200 and use it for remote play, or you can wait until next June and for $400 basically get a handheld PS5.
Proper PSP.
Yeah, I would buy it 1000%. And like these are things that they need to do moving forward. If they're getting rid of Jim Ryan, they need to take steps in a better direction of what. This is why we need a gamer. We need someone who's going to read the mind of the consumer.
Reverse
Because
some of the shit he did, or just adding more options to his brass decisions.
yeah, because as a consumer, we want the easiest things possible. You should not be tethering us to one console on every device.
Or forcing an accessory to use with an accessory.
Yeah, like the Portal not having Bluetooth.
Yep.
Don't do that.
Like
Like
if you want to use wire headphones, by all means, that's an option. But if you, how are you not going to include a Bluetooth in a $200 device and force consumers to buy your brand new 150 or $200 earbuds? That's ridiculous.
I think it's crazy. Like, you should not be okay with that. You if you want to push your feature, by all means push your feature. That's something cool to have. It's a side feature. You can use it with the specific things. And let's say like it's better latency, it's better this or that. Great. But you should always have those options. You
Yep.
shouldn't take
It's
things
all about
away.
options. Yep.
And then, you know, another thing I'm going to add in, let's fix PS Plus, man. You know, as much as I'm not caring about Xbox right now, you know, sadly Starfield just I dropped it way too fast. Payday 3 is a mess. I don't give a fuck about Liza P.
Rude.
My I'm sorry, there's too many other games. It's a great game, but there's too many other
No.
games right now.
Agreed. Agreed. We're both on
But
the crew. I'm on Cyberpunk DLC.
yeah, but Game Pass is like miles better than PS Plus. And it's sad because you're charging so much goddamn money, especially with the increase.
Yep.
So like one of two things
And
needs to happen.
people are still saying, but Game Pass still costs more. It's 204 a year. Well, I wonder why. Because you actually get a bunch of fucking day one games, and you get that EA sub with it. It's it might be more. It's only 44 more, but you get a lot more worth. $170 game, it already pays for itself, that extra cost.
Well, yeah. I mean, I also look at you also get PC, Xbox, and you also
Yep.
get
And
XCloud.
xCloud. Yep.
Yeah, like you're getting so much shit for this.
Hmm.
And technically speaking, you get all the apps. If I'm not mistaken, you get most of the apps, like the subscriptions to the apps. I think it's like Spotify and Disney Plus or something like
And
that.
occasional Spotify, occasional Discord Nitro, because I have
Mm,
Discord Nitro right now through it.
yeah, see? What does Sony give you? Bad streaming of PS3 games and half the PS3 games no one cares about.
And paid for cloud saves, which Xbox does for free.
Yeah, paid for it. Fucking cloud saves, which is stupid. Game trials when those games should just be in the service.
Or, just normal as demos.
Oh, yeah, right? Like you shouldn't have to charge for a trial. Just give me a free demo. It
You need
it's bad.
premium to try a game for 2 hours. Like, what the hell?
That doesn't make any sense to me. No,
No.
they got to change a lot and do a lot because like to me, I am perfectly fine with you having your extra program, your premium program. I'm not against it. Subscriptions are just how they are nowadays. If you're not doing it, you're fucking weird. That's basically how everything
This
is now.
whole price increase is just ridiculous. Like, extra was well worth the 100. Premium was not worth the extra 20 at all. Now, extra at 135, I don't know. Like, I'm sure you could find a game to make it worth that extra 15 over premium. But premium to 160 is asinine
It's insanity.
beyond, especially when the premium offerings have been nowhere near as good. I think the best game was Legend of Dragoon.
Mm, that and they added the PSP medieval. I think is how you say it. That
I
game's
forgot
really good.
about that.
But
But yeah, like a whole year of a little over a year of this service, and they've added 2 decent games. And it's
yeah,
what, like 3 a month or something like that?
and they've only added a handful of games into the service day
And
one,
Ridge
which
Racer. Like, no,
which
this
is
is in 2010.
they added Stray and they added the Sea of
Well,
Stars.
I'm talking about just premium.
Well, I'm just talking about in general. They've
But
also only added like
the extra offerings have been top notch. Like the monthly editions of the 10 or so games, Stray being day one, Sea of Stars being day one, Moving Out 2 being day one, and Sea of Stars and Moving Out 2 being the same day one.
oh, you're right. Those okay. I was trying to think. I'm like, there hasn't been that many games added to extra, but now I'm thinking because wasn't that it was like that
Extra
Forge?
gets like 10 games a month, bro.
Well, I'm talking about like day one releases.
Oh, no, it's just been Stray, Moving Out 2, and Sea of Stars.
No, there's one more. I can't think of it. It's like the Forge game. You like build the world and
Meet
then
Your
you
Maker,
play it.
Meet Your
Yeah,
Maker,
there you go. Hmm.
Dead by Daylight devs.
Oh, 5 because they also added Humanity, um, which I haven't played yet.
I think.
I want to.
Oh, and that one has VR.
Yes, it has VR. I wanted to play it. So I guess they've added a few. Yeah, no, extra. I've never had an issue with extra. I've always
No,
thought extra is okay.
extra was always worth it, and the
It's
only reason
premium
I
that's
did
bad.
extra in the first place was because over the regular plus, it was $40. I was gonna get Stray regardless, which is 30. So I was like, for an extra 10, extra for a year, no brainer.
Yeah,
And then
it's
the
a
only reason I went up to premium is because the Christmas sale last year, the upgrade was discounted, and I only jumped up to premium for $7. And I feel ripped off for that $7.
yeah, I haven't used it.
No, I haven't played Legend of Dragoon aside. I haven't touched any of the premium games.
That's yeah, it's bad, man.
That's sad.
I do like extra. Now that I'm thinking about it, I do like that more.
Extra
But yeah,
is
premium's
extra
trash.
is amazing.
Like
Like, I've played majority of the extra games at
like
some point, but what they've added that I haven't has been stellar.
like I will say now that I'm thinking about it, moving out 2 is amazing. So
I still
I
have
am glad about that.
I still have to try. I haven't downloaded.
So good. But regardless, I made some points. I pushed some things about what I think needs to change. Um, but in the end, what I want to see is like 2025. That's when things are going to really happen. Maybe 2026. Hopefully not that long. But for me, what I want to see have happen is I just want 2018, 2020 level of Sony back. Like I want to go into 2015 and they're just like exclusive in February, exclusive in May, exclusive in August, exclusive in November. Like I want I'm the type of person that I believe consoles need exclusives. I do not want, third party games out the ass. If you have timed
Like I
exclusives,
don't
that's
I don't
fine.
mind
But
I don't mind third party games, but don't make it that you have to rely on them.
well, I'm like, if it's timed exclusive third party, I guess that's okay. It's just I don't want like here's an example. Before Redfall, Series X literally had no first party games. So like if you were on a series console for 2020, 2021, and most of 2022, you didn't have a single timed exclusive
Mhm.
or a first party exclusive. And that's not what I want. I want 4 to 5. I don't care if they're single A, double A, triple A. I want 4 to 5 exclusives on my platform. I want that reason to own my platform, that drive to play those games, and why I'm on this platform. It's why the Switch sells so well. You know, they drop what Metroid Prime, Pikmin 4, Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, Mario Wonder, Super Mario
They just dropped
RPG.
Pikmin 1 and 2 this year.
Yeah, Pikmin 1 and 2 as well. So like they're over here dropping banger after
And
banger.
we're about to get 2 more Marios in the span of a month.
Yep. Technically, if you want to be serious about it, you're about to get 6 Mario games in the next fucking 4 months.
Oh yeah.
Because you got Paper Mario, you got Mario vs. Donkey Kong, you got Mario Wonder, you got Mario RPG, you got Luigi's Mansion 2, you got Princess Peach. Like, what? What?
Mario Overload. Yep.
Oh, dude, I love it. I love it. But that's my point is like, over on Switch, I look at 2023 and I'm like, holy fuck. The Nintendo.
Every year of the Switch like has been crazy.
Like Nintendo is just out here just
Mhm.
mollywopping the desk. Like that joint is out on the
Like
table.
even
It
if Nintendo didn't have third party support like the Wii U, they their years have been consistent.
I mean, to be honest with you, who cares about third party on the Switch anymore? You don't need third party when your first parties are that consistent and that good.
Yep.
The third parties there just to help. Like I preach about this and my friends make fun of me because they're like, "Oh, you're playing a 720p 30 FPS console, playing kid games." I'm like, "Dude, what have you played on your PS5 besides 2K and Call of Duty in the past year?" Exactly. Thank you. Like
So
there's nothing.
I was checking my Facebook memories the other day, and I had made a post a few years ago. People go hard for one console to play Call of Duty and NBA.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Like you're a fanboy to play multi-platform games.
Yep. You're fighting over a piece of plastic to play a game that's on all plastic. Like what? It, like that makes no fucking sense to me. Like 2K is gonna be 2K on Xbox, Switch, PC, PS5. You can play 2K on Stadia. That's not even alive anymore. It's still gonna be 2K. Like it's 2K. It's basketball. It's nothing crazy. You can play Call of Duty on anything. It's Call of Duty. You know what you're getting into. But you know what you can't play on everything?
Mario.
Mario. Yeah, exactly. Like Like it's just crazy to me, man. And that's just what I want to see. I want PlayStation to turn into the Switch. That's what I want. I want Sony to be like, we have Jack and Daxter, we have Sly Cooper, we have Ratchet and Clank, we have Infamous.
We need it like the PS3 or hell, even the PS4 era. Like banger after banger, no fucking excuses. Do it like Nintendo's doing right now, non-stop heat.
That's all I ask
Like
for.
we shouldn't have like strictly speaking on Sony, we shouldn't have a year with one exclusive, one first party exclusive. Because yeah, we've had exclusives this year, but first party, no, one is crazy.
And I don't, like I
And
said,
your one game is from the company who's been carrying your bag for a few years now.
yeah, I mean, like I said, I hate the fact that they consider Horizon Call the Mountain as one of their first parties this year. You know, they consider for their console exclusives, their
The only thing first party about Horizon is that price.
but they consider, you know, Resident Evil 8 VR mode is, you know, like VR on PSVR 2. I will give them props. PSVR 2 has definitely been able to pull a lot of exclusive deals that I think is a little crazy to me. Like Gran Turismo 7 VR is insane. Resident Evil 8 VR is insane. You know, the fact that
You're about to get the 4 VR.
yeah, Resident Evil 4 VR is about to drop. Walking Dead Saints and Sinners runs like 3 times better than it does on PC. Like there's so many things about PSVR 2 that I am impressed with when it comes to like them securing the bag and making sure these things aren't on PC. Um, but I don't consider that a first party, and I don't consider third party timed exclusives a big thing. Like it's cool. Like I guess you can count it as exclusive to the console, so it's like a reason to like talk about it. But like I didn't really get excited or hyped or really care about Final Fantasy 16. That's just me. I feel like I didn't like that there wasn't RPG elements. I didn't like that it was like super Devil May Cry-ish. Just like from a Final Fantasy fan standpoint, I wanted more of like old school, which is what I think a lot of people did too. Um, and then, you know, Forspoken is ass, but you really just 2023 was just like Square Enix and fucking Insomniac carrying Sony.
Basically. And right after Spider-Man 2, if there's no DLC plan, I'm pretty sure they're gonna go full frontal on Wolverine.
Mm-hmm. Which if that shit drops next year for any reason, someone should be investigating Insomniac and making sure there's not like some type of child labor laws or something in there because like
Realistically, I say 2025. Like, I say we see something early next year, or maybe a June state of play, like E3 ish, whatever. But 2025, I could see us get a release date for it.
I mean honestly, I could see them dropping something next year. It just seems like Insomniac can just somehow pull shit out of
2024
their ass.
might be the Spider-Man 2 DLC year.
Mm-mm. You know what I'm gonna say? You know,
Spider-Man Venom.
mm-mm. You know what I'm gonna say? Come on, think about it.
Say it.
What's one Insomniac game I have begged for since 2014
That's
to
the same one I've been begging Sony for, and they haven't been listening.
fucking Sunset Overdrive?
Yep.
You bought the IP. You own the IP.
You celebrated anniversary, or rather, you let Insomniac celebrate the anniversary, and did nothing with it.
Like, what is going on? All right. Yeah, I want to close out this video. It's 40 minutes longer than I wanted. So we're going to close out with this, okay? Because this is something that I brought up with my buddy the other day, and I think I may have brought it up with you once or twice. I do not understand why they are not remastering and remaking every fucking game under the sun. I do not care if people don't like remasters. I do not care if people don't like remakes. The one thing that the Switch is doing right is that they are just like taking their best games they have in their entire history and they're remaking them or remastering them and just bringing them to a new audience. You should be going in and looking at the PS3 and being like, what was our best exclusives? And how can we remaster this? How can
Yep.
we remake this? There should be no reason why, by this point of the PS5's life, there isn't at least 3 or 4 PS3 games brought back to life. I'm sorry, but we do not need Last of Us 1 remake. We do not need Uncharted 4 remaster. What we needed was Resistance 1 remake, Killzone 2 remastered, and Sly Cooper Collection. That's what we needed. I don't understand why we're stuck in this narrative of not touching the PS3. Like, I don't know. I get that the PS3 games were hard to develop for. I get that it's hard to emulate them. I get that the technology overall for the PS3 was trash. I get it.
Yeah, that's how architecture was a nightmare.
But what is going on that you're not doing anything about these IPs? Like, you should be dropping these games, man. Literally, if next year opened up, like, I'm being serious about this. Next year opened up and they dropped 3 remasters. You brought Sunset Overdrive back. You brought back a platformer. So say you like remade Astrobot for VR and brought it to PSVR 2. I'm just throwing that out there as like an oddball. And then you do like, I don't fucking know. Jesus, I can't even think. Um, I want a full remake of like Metal Gear Solid 4. Whatever, I'll just throw that out there. You just do three PS3 games or two PS3 games and like a PS4 game. You take these games, you remaster them, you bring them back, you bring them on PS5. You don't charge full price. You do like $40. There you go, $30, $40. I
Since you
guarantee.
mentioned Astrobot, I just want to chime in. Team Asobi actually put out last week that they're looking for people for positions, so
Hmm.
they might have something cooking.
Oh, they most definitely do because Astro's Playroom was god tier, so that they have to have
And
something.
they just released a bunch of Astro plushes. So
Yeah, no, they have to be working on something because it's bullshit that the first game isn't backwards compat on PSVR 2. But I'm just telling you, man. I just think if they went in and they dropped
I just
good
want Sunset Overdrive,
remasters,
bro.
Sunset Overdrive needs to come. There's no excuses
Like
why it's not on here.
Insomniac keeps posting about it, and it's like, Sony, do something. Ryan, if there's one thing you do before you dip out, Sunset Overdrive, bro.
It would these remasters would sell 10, 20, 30 million copies without even
Yep.
trying.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just like where I want to end this conversation because I'm just like anyone listening, anyone who actually checks into this, like just think about it. You think about your favorite PlayStation game. It could be PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4. Say Sony remade it, gave it like a $50 million budget and made it this like big remake, right? I guarantee you would buy that game.
All the times we spoke about it in the past, I'm surprised you didn't just bring it up. But Twisted Metal.
So the only reason why I've stopped bringing up Twisted Metal is I think it's fucking stupid that they released a show which was actually very good. Like that show was really good. I was surprised. But you did not bring out a Twisted Metal game. You could have remastered the PS3 game and it would have been plenty for me. You could have remade Twisted Metal Black and I would have been okay with it.
But instead, they dropped
He
in
dropped
premium.
Yep, 3 games in premium that all run like dog shit and have terrible controls and look like literally like you took a turd out of a toilet. Like they are so ugly. To market arguably your second best show next to Last of Us. Your second best anything TV wise next to Last of Us. You have nothing to market with. Last of Us, you marketed Last of Us 1, the remake. Why didn't you get any marketing material for Twisted Metal? And that's why I don't bring it up. I dropped it. I'm like, if you're not willing to put the marketing budget into pushing a Twisted Metal title for your show that is actually really good, is doing really good, and pulling great numbers, then you're not making a Twisted Metal game ready anytime soon. It's because I know what they're doing. I'll send it to you after this. There is a live service free to play Twisted Metal type game on PS5 that is actually really, really, really popular. And I know they're making Twisted Metal, whatever this new one is, to compete with that.
You're not talking about Crossout, right?
Is it Crossout?
Might be.
Yeah, they made a PS5 version about 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And its player base is zoomed up to like 1 million people a day or some shit like that. Like it actually is like really popular.
If it's what I'm thinking about, I used to play it.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. So I know Sony's doing. I know the next Twisted Metal is gonna just be a multiplayer free to play. That's all I know. I know that's what they're gonna do. Microtransactions, live service, free to play Twisted Metal. There's no way they're gonna do a fucking story mode or anything. And that's why I gave up hope. But I think that is all for this episode. This was kind of like all over the place. Like I wanted to talk about Jim Ryan, I wanted to talk about PlayStation, and we kind of ended up just like rambling like we usually do. But if you guys like the video, leave a thumbs up, follow the channel, share the video, subscribe. Make sure you check out Jason's channel, which I'll put in the description. I want to thank Jason for being on another episode. And leave in the comments down below, what is one PlayStation game you would want remastered or remade or anything?
In any capacity, really.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be a handheld game. Like any PlayStation game in any way. Like maybe you think this game should be remade in VR. Maybe you think this game should be remade like say it was originally a first person but now you want it in third person. Like I'm just curious like what you want remade or remastered. But with that, everyone have a great night. See ya.
Later, guys.